Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you're at, wherever time you're watching this. We are here with Molly again, Molly Tideback. We're going to analyze and give you our reaction to the game that just finished a few minutes ago. Iowa Drake. Iowa comes away with the victory today, 86 to 73.
Yep.
Hey, Molly, what's your first impressions?
I was I was a little scared in the beginning, but I have to say I was scared last year too when Iowa started out. I do remember the same thing. I think they said without Caitlin, Iowa doesn't have a team.
Did you
So
hear that rumor?
I did, yeah. And I think that the girls kind of, they said, "Hey, we got to prove something," and they did that. So I mean, it's still early in the game, but yeah. Uh, Starting out, I mean, Drake was running up and down the floor with Iowa, just like they were
Yeah.
trying to play our game instead of their game.
Yeah, I believe the was it the lady or the I think Larry was his name, the play-by-play guy. I think he
Yeah,
said they were running a little too fast for their offense.
yeah. They probably shouldn't have done that because I think it eventually wore them out. And I that's what I've seen with Iowa teams. They'll do that. They'll get down the floor, up and down, up and down. They just keep pushing, and they have a tendency to run teams into the floor. So
Mm.
that's your legs late in the game, as you
Well,
saw
yeah,
with the 3 pointers.
yeah. I mean, give Iowa credit for getting. I think they got it down to what 4 or 3 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Drake did,
yeah, yeah. They
and for them to keep their composure and just build it right back again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because that's where your test comes, right? So that's where the test comes. Are you guys going to continue to lose it? I was also looking to see like how Jan was going to coach. Like, was
Hmm.
she going to call those timeouts? Like, how is she going to let them deal? It's kind of fun to watch that back and forth now
Yeah.
after a coach for a while,
Yeah.
and played.
I know, and what people don't know is you and I were kind of texting our thoughts back and forth there in the game because I kind of wanted to get a feel where your head was at in this game, and what people don't know is you're calling for timeouts all over the place, and then you're getting them. It's
Yeah,
like you were calling the game. It's
yeah, yeah,
like you had a pipeline to Jan.
yeah. I kind of well last year I kind of did. I mean I would send her texts. I don't know if she read them or not. I said when in doubt, run that 3-2 zone matchup zone you guys run, or run the 1-3-1. I know when they ran their matchup last year, they did really well. So I know they like to play that man to man defense. But you saw in the beginning of the game how it was going, right? Drake was
Right.
getting a lot of easy backdoor because there's a lot of movement.
Hmm.
And when you're playing that man to man, if you make those mistakes, that's where they get those easy backdoors. But yeah, I was excited to see Jan doing like, she was on it. So that made me happy. I don't have to have a heart attack and do a couple push-ups.
Well, we had. I mean, overall, I think the girls had a kind of a balanced night. I mean, Olson had 18, O'Grady had 27, which wow, what a change from last year to this year for that girl.
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like she's just blossomed into this amazing domination in the paint. She seemed so shy and
yeah,
kind of barely there last year, and now she's like, "I got this."
yeah, yeah. You just kind of look at her and you're like, okay, she doesn't intimidate me.
Yeah, because she was kind of like that big, gentle giant out there on the floor and kind of getting.
Yeah,
Now she's just like, "Give me the ball, I'm putting it in the basket," along
yeah.
with.
I don't know what turned her around. I mean, they were saying that maybe that Ava Hayden, which hadn't seen the floor at all today, I don't think, unless it was at the very end.
I don't think.
Um,
I don't think so. Uh-uh.
yeah, they were saying that Jen was leaning toward her,
Hmm.
when she was doing media day, and O'Grady must have heard that and just got to work and said,
Yeah, that must
I'm
have.
I'm the senior here. We're not going to let you do that to me."
Yeah, I've been through all this. I'm doing this. I deserve it. It's my time. I'm going to take the floor. I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
It's like that though. When you're playing, you can't let a freshman come in and take your senior
I
position.
know. I know. When you're an upperclassman like that, you can't let them do that, right?
No, but then the freshman's coming in going, "I'm taking your position." So that's what.
Yeah. Well, then Stokey had 16, and Mulaney Teagan 55 had 13, and I really kind of credited her at the end of that first half of getting things turned around a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
was
sure.
it the first half or first quarter? I mean, not first quarter. I mean, second quarter or first
Second
quarter?
quarter. Second quarter.
Second
Yeah,
quarter, yeah. She just
absolutely.
kind of like fired them up a little bit with a couple of quick threes, and
Yeah. Yeah, and then Stolke came in with her. It's just a quiet 13. That's not a normal Stolke game, you
Mhm.
know. She seemed a little off to me, but being off and getting 13 is pretty nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, Mulaney, at the beginning, you and I were going, are they throwing those threes up a little too quick? And then I was like, well, now I know why, because she started nailing them. I'm like, I would be shooting them like that too if I'm hitting threes like that out there.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'd asked you too, and maybe you can kind of elaborate a little bit on what you told me,
Hmm.
is I asked you. It seemed like Drake was shooting the threes. It seemed like there for a while we were just getting in position and chucking them up. Like
Yeah, yeah,
we weren't really targeted. We were just kind of hoping they would go in. And
yeah.
you had a good comeback answer for that, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, we were not doing that within our offense. So they were
Mhm.
they were literally, so like Mulaney came in and she got the ball right off of the break, and she, like we say, we jacked up that three, and again,
Mhm.
that's a freshman thing. And
Mhm.
what we want to see her do is, you can get that same shot but on the reversal of the ball. So
Mhm.
she's going to get it on the reversal of the ball. She's going to have the same shot, but then she's going to have her rebounders in place. And I know
Okay.
Dan's probably going, praise the Lord Jesus, can they please listen to her? Because if you run it right within your offense like that,
Mhm.
then that's when you have your rebounders. If you come down and just jack it up, your post players and big girls are still trailing. So that's why we don't have the ability to get that in. It seems like shots going up, we're going back down the floor. Shots going up. That's why, because they're not shooting it within the offense. When you shoot
Mhm.
it within the offense, you got your rebounders in place, and then that's easy for that second shot. Those easy little bunnies, those
Yeah.
little rebounds, put them back
Mhm.
in.
Yeah. And I like Lucy Olson a lot, but it does scare me when she decides to pull up for a three.
Yeah. She's gonna have to get us. We're gonna have to get confident in her, I guess. She's gonna have to show us a little bit more that she's got that, because we haven't
Yeah.
seen it, right? We really,
Right.
I mean, because there's so many opportunities for her to pull up for a three if she does that, have that in her arsenal, right?
Mhm.
She's wide open and not taking the shot. So I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I remember Jan said in one of her interviews, I don't remember which one because I've listened to so many trying to get ready for the basketball season,
yes,
is that, that isn't part of her game, but she's trying to have Lucy make it part of her game. Like she needs to take a few during the game, and so, but it's just like, okay, I know you're not a good 3-point shooter. Just step inside that line and then shoot it.
yeah, right, yeah, just take that dribble or whatever you need to take that wide open shot. Or
Mhm.
she did take one where she dribbled in, then stepped back and hit the three, and that
Mhm.
seemed more like her shot. Then go
Mhm.
ahead and take that. I mean, because now they're just leaving her wide open on the 3-point line, like really
Yeah.
just kind of stepping back. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
So
I'd be shooting
she needs
that.
to go home and work on that because she's going to get
Right,
a few of those until she nails them. She's going to have people backing off on her, and you might as well take them when they're there
right. And
if you
McCabe
can do
needs
it.
to take more. McCabe needs to shoot the ball. Come on now, McCabe.
Yeah. Well, and that
Hope you
one,
hear
I
me.
mean, I think it was toward the end of the second half where she had a wide open three and she passed it up and gave it to Mulaney, number 55, who, to her credit, I
Right in
think
the chance.
she made a 3-point play out of it, I believe.
But me, I
Mhm.
feel like I come on, McCabe. I
Yeah,
know she can shoot those threes. I've seen them. She drains them. I mean,
she does. When she gets hot, she gets hot, and
yeah, get that confidence, and she did. She started nailing them towards the end, and I think that really that just sealed the deal for them. So it was nice for her to do that, at Drake in
mhm.
Iowa against her sister. That
Well, it
has
was kind
to
of. I did not realize that. I just was kind of. I knew her sister was in the game. She was 3 for 3 on the shot she took on the 3-pointers. So there you go.
yep,
But
right.
but all of a sudden I'm watching then on our end, and I go, oh my God, she's Gardner's sister. Because I figured out I had to go look on the roster to figure out which one her sister was because they said she was in the game and it was number 11. And I go, I mean, they must have, how could they do that with each other just like and get serious about the game?
Probably do it all the time, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
when, Caitlin and Kate Martin were guarding each other in the WNBA. They were having fun when they were doing that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and I saw Caitlin was at the game today.
Super cool.
Yeah. I got a text from Chad Lysico who said that he noticed that people were pretty much leaving her alone so she could enjoy the game,
That's
which
good.
was that was nice because the fans, because where she goes, she can't get away from them.
And it's super good they're doing that. Yeah, because that's got to be difficult.
Hmm.
Can't even imagine just living in life now as her and trying to just be a normal
Normal.
somebody out there, right?
Yeah, just be a
That's
normal person. Yeah. How did she
gotta
do
be
that?
gotta be hard.
Well, I got a charge out of when the cameras followed her and Connor to a restaurant in downtown Iowa City for
Yeah,
breakfast. And I go, really? You guys actually go out in public together? But not together so much as you're there. And this is a football Saturday morning, and you're out there and people are seeing you together. Don't you want breakfast in peace? Just
I know.
order it in. Have it in peace.
I know. Then she tries to sneak into a game with a hoodie on and and I'm like, they know it's you. I mean,
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing.
That's true. So anyway, getting back to the game, do you have any more thoughts? I mean, you had a lot of good things to say in our text messages,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, they ran the floor really well. They're pushing the ball up the sideline like, the Iowa basketball. I mean, we've been taught that forever. Just push the ball up the sideline, get your trailers in. Um, I'd like to see them run their offense more, but I mean, hey, if they're getting their easy shots like they're doing, that's fine.
mm,
Defensively, they're doing well. They just, I mean, overall, it was. I mean, when you're playing Drake and you're playing other teams, it's you are also playing up to or down to whoever you're playing, right? So it's a different.
right.
It just feels different,
Yeah.
no matter how you're playing.
It doesn't matter whether they're Iowa playing Drake or UNI or even Iowa State, which
Right.
has a very good team right now this year. But those guys are always going to raise their game to another level. I mean, they're Missouri Valley teams, the other two, but they're
Yes.
going to raise it to another level because they want to prove that they can
Yes.
beat Iowa.
Yes.
That
Exactly.
and some of those girls may have a chip on their shoulders because Iowa
Mhm.
didn't recruit them.
Right. And
You
they're
know.
coming in hard. I mean, they're not backing down. They're going to do whatever they
Oh
can
oh, no, that's just a little extra motivation.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
they're
don't mind teams playing up to their competition. What I
right.
don't like is teams playing down to their competition.
Yeah, me either. And I always remember the games against, Drake and Iowa State and UNI. Those were always the most physical games ever. I mean, we were killing each other in there. I mean, and you saw
Mhm.
some of that. I mean, and the thing you and I were talking about is like, I look, and I don't know if anybody's out there, but I didn't know that you could go ahead and call a foul on something that wasn't called a foul, or go look at a play that wasn't even called a foul yet. Like
Yeah,
that
that's what I
second
found amazing. I mean, and I'll be honest, when
that
she
too.
did that originally, I thought, "Oh, good, we got
No.
away with no foul," because that looked like a foul to me.
So let's go
And I
back
thought,
and review it. I didn't know you could.
yeah, but I mean, we go and we score a bucket, and we're sending our girl to the free throw line, and it's like, okay, stop the game. We got to go back and see if we should call a foul.
Like what? I didn't even
What?
know you could do that. Like I
I
thought
didn't
you
know.
upgrade a foul to an intentional foul or a flagrant foul or
Mhm.
flagrant 1 or 2 or whatever, but I didn't know you could go back and look at something that happened on another place on the court
Yeah.
before the other foul took place.
Yeah, and my concern was that since that foul, that technical actually happened before that we scored, that
Yeah.
they were going to pull those 2 points off the board and take the foul away from the girl who fouled. I can't remember who the girl was that went to the free throw line.
Was
But
it
anyhow,
Mulaney? It might have been Mulaney.
it was Mulaney. Now that you mention it, it was
I think
Mulaney.
it was Mulaney, and then they went down and shot for Drake. But see that, what if Mulaney would have missed? They went down and Drake shot, and then you see the swing there. So
Hmm.
it was different. I've never seen it before, but the announcers didn't seem to question it. So I was like, oh well, maybe that's what we do now.
Maybe some Missouri Valley rule. Maybe I
Maybe
don't know where the refs were from because
I've
honestly, by the time they got me to the game, it was already starting to tip off, and it's like, okay, we
yeah,
didn't even have any pre-game stuff here,
no
you
nothing.
know,
It was
you
like
know.
real quick. It was like bam, let's go. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I mean, at least those announcers were, a little bit better. Seemed more like the radio announcer that we had before. This color commentator that we
Yeah.
had. son. I think I've heard him on the radio before, but I'm not sure.
His name is, I can't remember his last name, Larry. He
Yeah,
used to do the men's games back in the day, in the
that's
70s and 80s.
that's what it is then. His
Yeah.
voice is so familiar.
Yeah, he used to do it with Mac McCausland.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, but I don't know who the woman was. Apparently, she's a former Drake player.
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
She was talking about Wanda Ford and playing against her, which is pretty cool that they had the 50-year and did Jan Jensen's uniform and retired that. That's really awesome that they got to do that. So
I know. You see how many Iowa coaches in the past were involved in that 50-year span at Drake.
right.
I did not know that.
Nuts. Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
Yeah, we got.
But here's something, an interesting stat. I got a comparison by stat on, like, they only shot 29% for field goals. Okay.
Okay.
Iowa shoots 52. Okay. So field goals, get this, were they were 18 of 63 on field goals. However, they were 13 of 40 for 33% at the free throw line. I mean, not the free throw, but the 3-point line. That means only 5 of their shots were 2-pointers.
That's nuts.
Isn't that nut?
Wow. Okay, well, anybody that plays them now needs that scouting report.
No, it just kind of jumped out at me because when I do these post-game things, I like to bring up a team comparison just to see, if the game was really as dominating or as close.
Right, and then think about that then. That's insane. And I was telling you, I was like, when Iowa plays their man-to-man and then they're going on that transition break and they get too deep in the paint and help too deep in the paint, they have a hard time getting back out on that kick out, and that's why those threes are so easy for people to hit. That's why I'm like, somebody needs to pick up the ball in the transition. I know they're screaming this. I mean, the coaches are screaming. Jan and them were screaming this. Somebody's got to pick up the ball.
Yeah.
Because you can't just let them get down the floor and then just start their offense however they want.
Well, it seems to me, though, even back in the Caitlin days, which were, I sound like it was forever ago, but it actually wasn't. But it seemed like the ladies gave up easy threes a lot.
Yeah, and again, that's what I said. It's not a trust. It's almost sort of a trust thing, but not really. It's almost, we get too deep as a guard into the paint to help out on the post player, and then they just pass it right back out, and that three is open. And when you got girls that can let it fly in 0.1 seconds, it's an easy shot. So you really need to kind of just hand in to help out and still have your girl, just getting too deep on that help. Our post players can take care of business down there. You know that. I mean, they've got it. They don't need all of the guards down there. I guess unless you're you got Cardoso or somebody in there like that, that's different. But when we're just talking about playing Drake, you don't need to get that deep in the paint. And
Right.
If they would have done that and then stopped those threes, it would have been a blowout. So yeah, I mean, and then you had little number 10. What was her name again?
Katie Dennebeer.
Yeah, and
Dennebeer.
Look, Dennebeer, I don't mean to do any disjustice or anything. I just don't know names yet. But Dennebeer with what, over 30 points?
40.
Yeah, 40.
40.
Did she say 40 in the back there? Well, wait a minute. I can find out real quick. I have it all right here. Let me look.
Let's look and see, because
Career high 40.
career high 40. That's what they're saying.
Yep, that's what it is.
Way to
Career
go,
high
Dennebeer.
40. 8 for 17 on field goals, 7 of 15 for 3-pointers, 17 of 20 at the free throw line.
That's amazing.
What a stat that is. That's kind of like one of your box lines.
Now you go, little one, number 10. Go point guard. Dang, she be killing it. And you were saying if it weren't for number 10, they'd be getting blown out. You were right.
I was definitely right.
It
just seemed like everybody went and challenged her. Nobody backed off of her. We were just getting our girls in foul trouble left and right.
I know. She was getting everybody. I mean, she took O'Grady. She took everybody. It's like, what the heck?
No, just like, but she kind of reminded me of Caitlin, like I told you there, because, Caitlin would do that. Just take over a game and just say, I'm going to will us to a win here.
Yeah, and she was intense.
She tried very hard to get them to win.
She did. She was intense the whole time. And then the other one for Drake, the taller girl, I guess they were saying that she didn't have her best shooting night, so that may have been the difference too. Who knows?
Yeah, I get her name was Miller. Do you
Yeah,
think
Miller. Yep.
do you think it's because between Hannah and
Hmm.
O'Grady that they did a number on her and she just couldn't
Well,
find a way around through them?
yeah, and the fact that we can bring so many girls in the game. I mean, you just bring them in fresh, and
Hmm.
you just keep running the same girls up and down the floor. That's hard to do.
Yeah,
When you got to crash inside with that many big girls, you get tired.
yeah.
Your legs are done. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, then and then when they started to make their little mini run at us,
Mhm.
you just the first thing you texted me is get the starters back in.
Time
and,
out. Starters back in.
yeah, there was only two of them on the floor. We got
You
Lucy
understand?
back in that right away, and then I think they brought Hannah in on the fourth foul, which I didn't expect to see her until
I know.
a couple more minutes, but it
Oh,
was obvious that Jan said, I got to stop the bleeding. I got to get her back in there.
she's gonna tell her, look, just hands straight up, stay on the floor, don't jump, don't go swatting at anything, and we need you in the game. We just need your presence in the game, and she knows that. I
Hmm.
think Hannah's matured a ton since she was swatting around at everything, and almost I think she fouled out almost every time. I swear her freshman year, I think it
Oh
was
yeah. Oh yeah.
right.
It seems like freshmen do that a lot,
Yep.
especially the ones that, like on the men's team. Owen Freeman is a foul magnet too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last year he seemed like he fouled out a lot of games or spent
Yeah.
most of the games in foul trouble, and it
Yeah.
seems like he's kind of headed in that direction this year
Hmm.
too.
They're just they're not used to that speed yet. They're not used to the
Hmm.
hesitation, or they're not used to the different moves.
Hmm.
Most of these girls are throwing everything at you, and you're used to being the most powerful on the floor or one of, right, and now everyone is. So it kind of it takes a minute to understand, okay, I gotta hold back a little bit. It's almost like go 80% instead of 110%, because you feel like you gotta fly up and down that floor and you can barely breathe. You're like, okay, breathe.
Yeah,
Breathe. All right, good now. I got
yeah.
this. You know.
Molly, we gotta try to build this show up if we're gonna do this more frequently. I mean,
Okay.
right now we're up against a guy, Corey Broad. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Mm-mm.
he does post game women's shows too with a former Hawkeye women's player.
Okay.
Can't think of her name now,
Well, let's
but
keep
she
it.
was on the team maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
But
Well.
I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, it's so, so we gotta start pulling some of his viewers away from it there, and
We'll
let's do this
try. We'll try. We'll see what we can
because
do.
I'm not gonna say anything against the other girl because I don't know anything about
I'm
her, but
still a
you
hot.
know, but just having you analyze games, like
Go hard.
shoot, I mean, it's just so much fun with you doing this.
Oh yeah, because it's different now, because before, like 4 years out, unless she's coaching. So let's see, would just be as a player, right?
Hmm.
Now it's been how many years? Almost 30 some years, plus 25 years of coaching. So I've been
Hmm.
coaching basketball,
Yeah.
and just kind of being on that side of it, and then understanding the inner workings of everything, and then really kind of understanding what Coach Stringer was doing, and what and now watching last year with the Hawkeyes, and then seeing the difference now with Jan. Like, it's just, as a coach, you get it even more, but it's also fun because as a player, like what the heck's going on the floor and how hard that is.
Yeah.
Everybody's, oh well, why can't you just do this? Well, why don't you try to do that? Like we were talking about O'Grady, like she threw an elbow, and I'm like, there's no way she threw an elbow falling on the floor trying to save the ball and shoot at the same time.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did not do anything intentionally, right? But they're thinking, oh, that's got to be intentional. You get everybody
Oh
out
yeah.
there going, oh, she meant to throw that elbow. Oh, I guarantee
Yeah.
I had no idea she even threw an elbow.
Yeah. That's right. All she was trying to do was trying to save herself as she was falling down and making
Right.
sure that ball stayed in her hands.
And you're a big girl. I mean, come on now. She's coming down. It's almost, it's tough. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch it and think about it. And, we all do this. We do this on our couch. We
Hmm.
we say these things on our couch while we're watching the game. So
Well,
to have
what's
an
what,
opportunity.
what's really cool. First of all, before I go into it, Calvin is on here, and
Yeah.
hi, Calvin. Appreciate you watching. The girl with Corey is Kasheen Alexander, and I just don't remember what years, but it seems to me like she was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. No, it
I
doesn't ring
think she
a bell.
has. I think she had a little bit of WNBA experience after
Okay.
she left Iowa,
Okay.
and then now she's doing this with Corey.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
But yeah.
that's neat.
So yeah.
It's fun. I mean, it's good to have Hawkeyes out there saying things, and talking about the game and giving their input.
Yeah. Oh no, it's always fun, and I'll tell you what, I'm sitting on my couch watching the game, saying things that, but you're looking at a different from perspective, as a coach, as a player, and you played in the era against some of the best players and with some of the best players, and you kind of know what you're looking at, and it's like I mean, some of the stuff you sent me in text message, I go, oh yeah, she knows her stuff.
Yeah, I
She
know.
remembers everything very
Well,
well.
yeah, and I mean, we got that from Coach Stringer. I mean, Coach Stringer gave it to us. I mean, we had to know the game like the back of our hand from Coach Stringer. I mean, because when we would play, I mean, you couldn't hear anything, and I know that's the way Iowa was last year too. I mean,
Hmm.
we had to have cards held up to let us know, but she stopped with the cards because we still couldn't even look over at those. Like we'd be playing Ohio State and we would know what's going to happen. We would know, like I would tell a girl, like the buzzer would go, man, and I'd be like, yeah, you're going out because you missed that screen back there about 2 screens ago. She's like, what do you mean? And we would just know the other team's plays. We
Hmm.
would know what we were running if we scored this. We knew what we were running if we had 10 seconds left and we needed a last second shot. I mean, it's just, it was second nature. But Coach Stringer gave that knowledge to us. She
Yeah.
made us know that information. So it was
That's why
valuable.
she was a successful coach wherever she went.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And I was watching, I don't know if you saw the video of her on Facebook that they just recently posted about her talking about her time at Cheney. And that and it was nuts to me because they said she wanted to coach basketball, but they were asking for coaches. And they said, does someone want to coach swim? And she was like, no one said anything. She goes, I will. And then they were like, does somebody want to coach volleyball? And she's like, I will. And then they were like, does somebody want to coach basketball? And she's like, I will. And the guy's like, great, we got our coach now. We got our coach for everything.
Is
And
that how they did it back in those days?
yeah, and here I am. I'm coaching soccer.
Hmm.
I'm coaching softball, and I was coaching swim at one time. So it's nuts. And then I wasn't coaching basketball. And I remember going back and I saw Kathy Marks. I think she laughed so hard when she heard that. She's like, "You're coaching what? And you're not coaching basketball?" She goes,
Well, that's kind of where
"You
I thought you was
kidding
like,
me?"
why isn't this girl coaching basketball?
It's just I mean, it's the way it happens sometimes. And you do what you need to do for the girls, and these girls need coaches, and they need coaches that will take them to the next level. And that's my plan. I've got an amazing softball team. I just need to put a shout out there for that. I mean, this team right
Yeah.
here, when I'm telling you my softball team is going to state and they're going to be at the top, it's going to happen. I've got
Yeah.
eighth graders and freshmen that are just ready to kill it, and I'm
So
so
when do you start your next softball season with them?
well, tryouts in May. We actually just finished. It was
Hmm.
our JV team won every single game, and our
Hmm.
varsity only won one. But that's why that whole entire team is coming up. So in May we have another tryout, and then we start back at the beginning. It's not in the summer like it is back in Iowa.
Hmm.
It goes super short: August, September, October, states in November, and we're done.
Oh, in the fall. You're a
Yeah.
fall
In
sport.
the
Yeah.
so we spend the 2 months in the summer doing our preseason, and then we go right into it. And it's insane and so much fun. And I have a great group of girls. I'm so excited about them.
Yeah. What about your soccer team? Are they currently playing right now?
I'm assistant soccer,
Okay.
and they should be okay. I literally moved from Sandy Creek to Fayette County High School, and
Hmm.
Sandy Creek and Fayette County were rivals.
Hmm.
So I was coaching soccer over at Sandy Creek, and now I'm over at Fayette County, and Sandy Creek's going to be amazing, and Fayette County they'll be okay. I mean, but
Hmm.
if they're going to want to beat us just because I made the move, but
Yeah.
I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. Well, it's like the other night when I finally talked myself into buying the ESPN Plus because I knew that the
Yeah,
soccer team was playing their
yes,
NCAA tournament over there. I
yes,
go, yeah, so I got to turn that on, and of course they won their first round
which
match,
is
and
so great.
yeah, and it's just like I told you, soccer's kind of my jam. I've coached it for so many years, like
So great. Yeah.
so it's
It's
like
just like
okay.
basketball, just bigger. It's a bigger field and
Hmm.
more. more players. But it really is just like basketball if you think about it. You need to reverse the field, right?
Mhm.
And then you need to shoot it across the field in order to get that cross and then go into the goal. So it's the same thing. It's the same concept.
Yeah. Oh, I did girls for so long,
Oh, that's
and
so
then I retired from it. Then my daughter tricked me into coaching again for her grandson in a rec league, or my grandson in a rec league, her son. And
yeah,
so she brought me on as assistant,
yeah.
but she was pregnant with her twins at the time, so she couldn't really do all the practices. So I had to
So
take
you
over
had
and
to
do them. So I basically was the head coach, assistant head coach, I guess, for the first season of that, and they went undefeated. The
yeah.
boys did, and then the next season I was officially the head coach because she had the newborns and couldn't coach. So I did the next 2 seasons, and again we remained undefeated the following season, but then we lost a couple of games the third season, and after that it was too much because I was driving an hour and a half each way to for practices and coaches and coaching games for 3 times a week. So
Yeah.
but what I was going to tell you is boys are and men are notorious for just getting the ball and going down how far they can get before they
Yep.
try to shoo it and don't pass it around any. And with the girls, I always successfully got them to pass and move the ball around and move
Hmm.
people around and just spread things out. And so I taught these boys to do that. This,
And they're
to do
deadly.
that. And that's why they were so successful.
Yes, it's so true. But they're deadly. Once you get them to understand that and they see it and they do it, it's nuts. Like they're because they've got the ability to do that so quickly. That power that they have. And then if you get somebody that's got a great foot, I mean, they can shoot from way out. Once you reverse that ball, they can shoot from so
Mhm.
far out. It's so much fun to watch.
Oh, my grandson does that.
Does he?
He does a lot of their penalty kicks from way out.
Love it.
Like it, not the direct ones into. Well, yeah, I'm getting confused here, but when they need a
Yes.
kick from
Yes.
outside,
Yes.
it's him that they turn to because he's deadly accurate. He can pinpoint the corner exactly. I
Right.
mean, my son-in-law just sent me from a tournament he was in over the weekend. Just sent me some video and then impressive stills, and it's just like
Yeah.
this guy. He plays on an elite travel team, so I don't always get to his games because
Oh.
I can't because they're not local.
Well, and then to think that even Caitlin Clark was a soccer player, and she was doing that from midfield too. So she
Yeah,
was not only shooting the long ball, but she was kicking the long ball, kicking
yeah,
from the logo as well, which is pretty awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty amazing to be a Hawkeye, that's for sure.
Well, anyway, let's wrap this up real quick. Let's just kind of wrap up everything about the team. And do you
Mhm.
have the schedule in front of you? Who they play next? When?
I do not. Hold
Let me
on.
see if I can grab that real quick.
I can
I
check.
should be able to get to it.
I'll get a better setup so that I can talk easier instead of just on my phone.
Oh no, that is no problem.
It works.
It works. It works very well. Although your camera seems to be moving. I don't know if that's you or
It's me.
somebody behind you moving it.
I'll fix I'm gonna get a what do you call it? A tripod or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
They got all that fun stuff now.
Okay, schedule.
November
Here we go.
20th
Okay.
they play, really? Kansas is their next game.
Kansas, November 20th, which is the day after I land in Oklahoma City.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you know if I'm
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
be able to do that one.
no problem.
We're staying at an Airbnb outside of Oklahoma City, and I don't know what the setup is like yet.
Yeah, you never
But
know what
I'm taking all my gear with me,
that's cool.
because we're gonna do something. But I'll let you know if we can do that one. But that would be a fun game to do.
Yeah.
And the one thing I think I learned from listening to the two TV announcers, because I was telling you I didn't think we could
Right, right,
actually pull off
right, right. Yeah.
commenting on plays and stuff because the next play would be already happening. And
Right, right.
but she found time to sneak in her
Yeah,
tidbits all through there,
yeah,
and
they're
that might be
talking
your role. We
constantly.
might be able to try that live one time and just see how it works, and you can sneak in your
We might
comments in
we
between.
might try a quarter or something and then be like, all right,
Yeah.
guys, we gotta go get something to drink because we're both tired as all get out. I need some
Yeah,
oxygen.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be saying much because you'd be doing all the comments. I'll just shut you up.
You were like, did
But
you see
no,
what I sure did?
Yeah. Did you see that? No, what are you guys talking about?
We don't know
Yeah.
anymore.
The only problem with us is we'd have to keep the volume down and not show our camera to the TV because that would be a
Right.
violation, copyright violation, and YouTube would take me down so fast.
So we'd have to do it without the game and just
We'd have to do it with
talking
us watching the game, assuming that they're all watching the game
as
too.
we talk.
Yeah, as we talk. Yeah,
Okay, wow.
you know
That's tough. We could try.
that's kind of one of the tough things. It's easier to do with football because you got all that time in between plays to
So
talk about a play that just happened. But
right.
you
Yeah, 'cause
know,
I'm thinking about that too, because they were going pretty fast. But I mean, I guess as you get used to it, I mean
oh yeah, yeah.
it
But I kept thinking, well that analyst lady today, the lady doing the analysis, she had no problem sneaking in what she thought in between plays because
right,
she had enough time and she knew when to cut it off
right,
when to stop because the play was going on or something.
right. And I think we were kind of doing that anyway with our text back and forth.
We were, but by the time I get it texted out to you, I'm so slow. The ball's gone the other way.
We may be able to handle it though. I think we could do it.
All right, okay. I appreciate you being on, and
No
one of
problem.
these days I want to finish that interview we never really finished because
We can.
it's just like I didn't even cover half of what I wanted to, which shows that I thought it was a good interview because we just were all over the place, and I kind of wanted to let it go that way, but man, I want to do more with you because that was so good. I want to do like a part 2.
Yeah, no problem. I got all the time in the world, and whatever you want to ask, we can do it.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're gonna end this live right now. We appreciate you watching. We're gonna do more of these. Hopefully, we can figure out how to do the Kansas game because that would be a fun one to do.
Yeah.
Also, come back in about 10, 15 minutes, and we will be doing our football show with Jason and Paul. So
Awesome.
that'd be fun. I didn't realize that I was going to be so close together. We're actually going an hour earlier than we normally do because one of the guys can't be on if we don't go an hour early.
Okay. All right. Well, cool.
Okay. All right. Talk to you again soon, Molly.
Yep. Go Hawks.
Take care. Bye. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.